The Tipping Point with Mike Tipton is brought to you by Dubby. What is Dubby? Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like those other energy drinks have. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. Dubby's products are made in the USA in an FDA-inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. All of the flavors are unique and custom-made by Dubby, and you'll never taste our taste anywhere else. The best part about it is they're affordable. Dubby's drinks come out to about $1 per drink, much cheaper than Starbucks or any of those canned energy drinks. To learn more, visit w.gg.com/discount/MRTipton33 and place your order today. Use promo code MrTipton33 and save today. Dubby Energy, be better. What's going on, everybody? I want to tell you about my new friends over at Cleverman. Visit them online at becleverman.com. What they gave me was the energizing face and beard scrub along with the Cleverman face scrubber. And trust me when I say this, the energizing face and beard scrub smells amazing. Combining it with the face scrubber, making sure that your boy was looking as good and sexy as possible, opened up a whole different sensation in my face that I haven't ever felt before. I felt so clean, so fresh, and so clean, like Outkast said, and it helped me feel like I was ready for my day. Make sure you visit them online at becleverman.com and follow them on Instagram at ClevermanNYC. The link is up in my bio if you want to check out all the amazing products they have. Visit them online, becleverman.com. It is the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton, hanging out with you here on a Tuesday morning following some Monday Night Football. I hope everyone out there is having themselves a great morning so far. Remember, we are brought to you by our friends over at Crushed Peanuts. Visit them online at crushedpeanuts.com. You can buy them here in El Paso if you're in the El Paso area, at local Valero and Chevron stations. If you cannot find them, ask for them. Crushed Peanuts, 9 grams of protein, the best way for you to start your day and crush your next workout. Crushedpeanuts.com to learn more. My dude B Strilla tuning in right now, reminding all of us that age ain't nothing but a number. At least that's what the Kells said. That is such an inside joke that one person on this show might laugh. Maybe might laugh. That was a deep inside pitch. But I'm happy with it. That's what matters. I was telling people the other day, 99% of the jokes I say are for me. I used to say 95. 99% of the jokes I say are strictly for me. If I laugh, I'm happy. But I've got such a weird, twisted sense of humor that it might make somebody else out there laugh too. Ooh, Beach Drill saying Augustine is supposed to send me samples, damn it. And then saying what's up to Tommy as our dude Tommy Cananza tunes into the show right now as well over on YouTube. We're trying to grow, trying to do all those things that we've got to be doing in order to survive. Like Gloria Gaynor, I will survive. All right, so now we've got the full NFL week behind us. We're looking forward to what this upcoming week is going to do. If you're a Bengals fan, I feel bad for you, son. You got 99 problems and your quarterback is now one. The same thing with the Minnesota Vikings. And then I saw this, that I didn't even realize that Carson Wentz was still in the NFL. because whenever I saw the news that J.J. McCarthy went down, I was like, oh, okay, I wonder who their backup is. And then I read the article, and it's like, journeyman Carson Wentz will be starting for the Minnesota Vikings. So I did some research, and I was like, oh, okay, like, I know that Carson Wentz was on the Chiefs last year. And then I started doing some more research. I was like, man, like, where's he been? Has he started any games? He started one game, at least one game, for the last 5 seasons. But he's also been on a different team each of the past 5 seasons. Let me bring it up here so that way I get it right. There's times I feel like my computer is listening to me. Because if I type in Carson, Wentz shouldn't be the first name that comes up. Augustine saying, it's incredible how awful the play calling is at San Diego. They are no longer in San Diego, so maybe that's why the play calls are so bad. They are in Los Angeles. Augustine goes on to say, Harbaugh might be a good coach. Whoever is calling the plays needs to be slapped around. I think it's a few things, right? Like, I think the Raiders defense is going to be better than what we initially thought it was going to be. Like, I know the Raiders right now are 1-1. I also don't think that the Raiders are going to be a very good team. And I think that a lot of teams are going to look over, look past them, especially early on. That game was closer than what it should have been. It was ugly. It was not fun to watch. It was extremely boring. I mean, even the Houston-Tampa Bay game, like, it wasn't really that exciting until, like, the last couple of minutes of the game, right? Like it just – I think that you're still in the feeling out process and, like, what you want your team to be. Right now, if you're the LA Chargers, you're 2-0. You're the only team in the division that's 2-0. The giant that's been in the division that I think has won 7 straight division titles is now 0-2. And as of right now, you have a tiebreaker over them because you beat them in Brazil. So if I'm the Chargers, as long as it's working, it might not be pretty, but a win's a win, right? And that's exactly what I was going to say, Strilla. That defense can carry any team. I believe all of us, as sports fans, would love to have that LA Chargers defense. And Augustine saying that they can't run the ball, but they have one hell of a quarterback. And that is true. Like, we are seeing a maturation process with Justin Herbert. But I will rebut with this. They will eventually be able to run the ball. Like, I think having Najee Harris, having Omarion Hampton, you're going to be able to get it done. The Chiefs have a really good run defense. The Raiders, like I said, that's going to be a question mark. You've got to kind of take it as it comes and goes with the Raiders. They might have a better defense than what all of us give them credit for. Look at how they beat the Patriots. And even with as good as the Chargers could be, they kind of stuck there with the Chargers, right? Like, they held the Chargers there. They were getting a lot of pressure. They were doing a lot of things, that Vegas defense. Like, a lot of teams have the arrow ticking up like this. The Raiders got it kind of, it's barely going up. They got a lot of stuff that they need to do. I need to see them, like, if we're talking about the Raiders, I've got to go back and watch some of the game. It got super boring, and I wanted to just fall asleep because I was very tired last night. What the hell is this? Did y'all hear that? No, there must have been like an ad or something playing. I don't even know where the hell that ad came from because I don't even have an ad on any of my stuff right now. And that's exactly what I was going to say, Shirley. Like, you got a rookie running back. The O-line is all good. Augustine saying that we did hear that. I don't know where that came from. Like, I'm looking at all my windows. Like, maybe it was from this, but it's muted. All of it's muted. We'll go back to that. Augustine saying, is Jesus coming to save you? When the rapture happens, I know full and well that my goofy ass is getting left behind. I will be watching as all of you ascend up into the heavens. I'll be down here being like, hey guys, hey, it's your boy. Don't forget about me. Won't you forget about me? Strail saying it's that ghost. The crazy thing is my house shouldn't even be haunted. Like, it's not even that old of a house. That's part of the reason why I got it. Like, I don't want a haunted house. Shouldn't even have a ghost, but I know there's got to be something. I think it's Jack. If I'm being honest with you, like I'll get back to the sports stuff in just a second. If I'm being honest with you, there was a small period of time where I thought my weenie dog Jack was a shapeshifter or whatever the hell they're called, a skinwalker. Because like I would put him outside, I would shut the door, and he's a weenie dog, so he's not even like really big. He doesn't have any opposable thumbs. Like he'd be in the house and the door would be shut. And I'd be like, how did you get into the house? You just like show up. He has like these weird eyes, these weird dead eyes. The ghost is trying to be informed. I'm slowly turning the ghost into a sports fan. Now there's a part of me that hopes that the ghost is like from, if again, hypothetically, if the ghost is there, like the ghost is from like the 1700s, right? And he's been here long enough, or she's been here long enough to like, have learned what my language is and all this stuff. And they're just trying to like be like, I want to give you my opinions on how terrible the Dallas Cowboys are. Please stop watching that team in this house. I see the pain they give you. I'm dead, and they're giving you more pain than what I went through in my life. I feel like that's what the ghost is trying to say. Like, is there a message out there, ghost? If that's what you're trying to say, do something. Move the flag. I saw the flag moving the other day, like you were talking about, Strilla. Like right behind me too. It would just move. Like we see, it's flat right now. I got the fan going, so if it was the fan, it would be moving the whole time, and it's not. Augustine asking, is she a hot ghost though? Even in the afterlife, Augustine, that ghost would run away. That ghost would exercise itself if it saw you coming in more than one way. Its direction. That ghost would exercise itself. Strill saying, who says it's a she, Augustine? Who said, yeah, who are you to tell this ghost what it identifies as? Augustine saying it could be a she. It 100% could be a she. Anyway, getting back to like what we were talking about with the Raiders and the Chargers, Justin Herbert leading the way with 31 rushing yards for the Chargers. Najee Harris right behind him with 28 rushing yards. It's not just that Justin Herbert led you with yards. It's also that Justin Herbert led you in attempts. Like Justin Herbert had more attempts as the running back than Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton. And then I say on the Raiders side of this thing as well, right? You drafted Ashton Genty, a really high draft pick. You drafted Ashton Genty. And in these first couple of games, it hasn't really worked out. And like I agree, Strilla. He's a rookie. He's got to learn what the line is. He's got to do all these other things. The Raiders' offensive line, we can say, is objectively bad. Geno Smith was under all kinds of pressure. The way Khalil Mack broke his arm yesterday was kind of gross too. But Ashton Genty only getting you 43 yards is terrible. And I agree, like it's still early. When I'll leave it up to y'all. When do we stop saying it's too early? Do we go like a month in? Is it 3 games, 4 games? Like, what is the line of demarcation where we can say, okay, now I've got enough of a sample size? Because again, it's only 17 games, so it's not like a long season or anything like that. I guess if you are in a relationship with a football fan and you don't necessarily like football, yes, it's a long season, but it's not a lot of games, is what I'm getting at. I'm saying week 4. Right? Like that's when all the stuff of it's too early to tell what these teams are. I'm going week 4. Shrill saying about 4 or 5 games. Okay, I'm good with that. Augustine saying by the 6th game we should all know. Going back to the ghost, Strill says the ghost is identifying as dead. And Augustine saying it's just like the Cowboys season. Dead. This poor ghost. This ghost does not deserve to get roasted. Like Pete Davidson's father. That's a shout out to the few people that may have watched that roast. I think, again, going back to yesterday's games, Tommy's saying it too. 4 weeks, you should know. By week 4, we should all know what to expect out of these teams. I'm a firm believer with y'all on that. The LA Chargers, I think there's one thing that we can say about the LA Chargers is that their defense is going to be really good. Now, granted, they've won these 2 games against very constipated offenses, right? Like the Kansas City Chiefs offense isn't what we thought it would be, and it hasn't been that over the last couple of years. Like we can all agree on that. And then the Raiders offense is the Raiders offense. Geno Smith, like if you had faith in Geno Smith, you shouldn't have. But let's see who the Chargers have coming up next. They've got the Broncos. Jesus Christ, they had 3 straight division games? That's crazy, man. I wonder if they just end the season with division, and they don't. Oh, crap. And then the Cowboys play the Chargers on December 21st. Of course. Of course. When the Cowboys need to be good, that's whenever they play. Augustine saying we should all watch the roast of Donald Trump again, LOL. Strill saying maybe that's why it's a ghost. Yeah, you never know. You don't know what it's done. Augustine saying if the Chargers are going to get over the hump, they need to realize they can't run the ball and have 5 total control and give total control to Herbert and just say, go get him. That's not a recipe for success because we've seen in the past, if you give the reins to Justin Herbert, he's very sporadic. I think he's a super talented quarterback, but I don't think that he's the kind of guy that makes your team better. Like he's got to have good weapons around him, right? And you have Ladd McConkey, you got Quentin Johnston, you've got Keenan Allen. Like they've got some pieces there. I think it's too early in the season, Augustine, to give up on running the ball. Because you have to have that balance. That's what like a Jim Harbaugh team is, right? Like even going back to the 49ers whenever he took them to a Super Bowl and we had the Horror Bowl, it was a running team. A ton of talent on it, but it was a running team with a good defense. The Chargers have a really good defense. They just need to be able to establish the run. And like I said, maybe it's early. It is early, right? Like we're 2 weeks in. And maybe the Raiders might have a top-ranked run defense. We don't know how any of this is going to go. But they were able to get collectively 81 yards, so close to 100. And I feel like in today's NFL, if you can have a running back that gets you consistently 75 to 80 yards, get you 100 yards every now and again, that you'll be okay. If you have a running back room that can get you collectively up to 100 yards, then you're going to be okay. You just have to be able to have that threat of running the ball. And having Najee Harris, having Omarion Hampton, having Justin Herbert, who's able to move and is quicker than what I think most people give them, I think it'll be fine. Like I genuinely think that they should be able to run the ball decently. B. Strill saying they are 2-0. They can only get better. Again, it's early. And again, right? Like they're 2-0 without running the ball this well. They're 2-0 because they have a fantastic defense. We'll see, can that defense hold up? Like, again, I don't think the Broncos have an explosive offense. This is what the schedule looks like for the Chargers going forward. And there's a real possibility that they can be like, that they'll have one loss maybe. Like they can be a really good team like going forward, right? Because as much as I love the Broncos, anything can happen. That's a home game for the Chargers. That's going to be in SoFi Stadium. So you got the Broncos coming up next. We'll toss that up. We'll say they got the home field advantage. We'll call that a win. So now you're 3-0. You have the dismal New York Giants that gave the Dallas Cowboys a run for their money. Division game with the Cowboys. I fully expect the Chargers to dominate the Giants. Then you've got the Commanders. And that's going to be the one game so far where I think to myself, okay, maybe, but we've got to see what the Commanders are, right? Like, especially following this week where the Commanders were underwhelming, right? Like the way that they lost to the Green Bay Packers, they were very underwhelming in that game. So it depends on what we get out of these next 2 weeks from the Commanders, whether or not we can say they might be good enough to beat the Chargers. This Chargers defense is going to be really good. Then you got the Dolphins, who we all know are bad. End of discussion. The Dolphins are a terrible team. Then you have the Colts at home. What version of the Colts are you going to get? Can Danny Dimes continue doing it? Can Indiana Jones continue doing this? Then you got the Vikings, the Titans, the Steelers, the Jags, the Raiders, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Texans, and the Broncos. This isn't a murderer's row of a schedule. Like, you can legitimately see the Chargers being a 12-win team if everything goes their way, right? Like a 12-win team, maybe a 9-win team at the worst. You can legitimately see that, man. Augustine saying, hey, I gave up on UTEP 20 years ago. Why can't we give up on a team in the NFL? And in Las Vegas, when you have Geno Smith, you know you're in trouble. Beast Drill reminding us that Jaden Daniels does have an ankle injury. Augustine saying, can the number one team in college beat the Dolphins? The answer to that is objectively no. And Strill saying easily a 12-win team, right? And if you look at even following last week, if you look at Vegas and like the way that the odds move to win the division and stuff like that, the Chargers have had the best odds to win the division. Now, obviously that doesn't mean anything. Vegas is there to try to take your money. I hope I'm not, pulling back the fourth wall for anybody right here, that Vegas is there to try to take your money. Oh no. The stripper doesn't think you're cute. Neither does the bartender, and neither does the waitress. You nerd. It's called customer service. But if Vegas is putting money on them, it's because there's got to be something there, right? You can see a scenario, and I chose the Broncos to win this division. But I also said, like, there's not a big gulf between the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Chiefs. If the Chiefs can get anything on offense, you get Xavier Worthy back, you get Rashee Rice back, Isaiah Pacheco can run the ball, then maybe. right? But you're still 4 games away from Rashee Rice coming back. What kind of shape is he going to be in? Xavier Worthy, what kind of shape is he going to be in? Will Isaiah Pacheco be able to be healthy all season? Like those are things with the Kansas City Chiefs. Like those are the big question marks with them. Right now, if you're the Chargers, let's say Keenan Allen goes down. You feel good. Glad McConkey, Quentin Johnson, like you have a pretty decent team. Omarion Hampton goes down, then you've got Najee Harris in the back, and vice versa, right? Like they've got a solid enough team. I can't wait. Like, I'm really going to be interested in this game on Sunday between the Broncos and the Chargers because I think that that's going to be one hell of a game. I genuinely feel that way. Augustine saying that he's a good customer then, and then going on to say that Isaiah Pacheco will never be able to run the ball. They need to put Kareem Hunt in there. Pacheco's a good runner, man. It's just right now, if your defense is going up against the Kansas City Chiefs, you know that the Kansas City Chiefs don't have any threats on the outside. They don't have a deep receiving core. So you stack up the box, right? You congest that area so Travis Kelce can't go off. You congest that area so that way they can't run the ball. Patrick Mahomes being your leading rusher, this is the crazy thing right now. Patrick Mahomes is on pace to run for 1,000 yards this season. Obviously, if that's what happens, the Kansas City Chiefs are in a lot of trouble and they won't make the playoffs. And Patrick Mahomes will not be healthy all season long. But right now, you got to play the hand you're dealt. You don't have any outside weapons. Maybe trading for Tyreek Hill wouldn't be so bad. I was surprised that they didn't go out and get Amari Cooper, but clearly Amari Cooper didn't want to play anymore. I was surprised they didn't get Keenan Allen. But that's the Kansas City, like that's the cross they have to bear. Right now, defenses know this is a one-dimensional team. Mahomes is still out there doing Mahomes things, but they don't have any real threats in the receiving core. Juju Smith-Schuster ain't the guy. B. Strilla going on to say, it's easy to have a good customer service when it's self-serve, Augustine. Augustine, just getting roasted relentlessly. That was great, Strilla. That was good. On the converse side, like obviously you have the Raiders doing their thing. The Raiders are going to be whatever the Raiders are going to be. I want to see them be able to establish the run. I want to see more from Ashton Genty. Augustine saying, hey, sorry, I'm taking a shower, LOL. Nobody. I can't say that. I am confident in knowing that out of all the sports shows based out of El Paso, Texas, and again, it's the ESPN thing of LeBron James scores this many points between 2 minutes and 3 minutes in the first quarter on a Tuesday night whenever the full moon is out and there's strippers on the Vegas or whatever, right? Like where they really cherry pick these stats. So I'm going to do it right now as well. Out of all the sports shows, podcasts, anything like that in El Paso, the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton has to lead with viewers watching in the shower/bathtub. My demographic of viewers watching this show while they're in the bathtub, exponentially higher than anyone else in El Paso. That's where I hang my hat. It's not working at ESPN. It's not having my own sports show. It's not any other things that I've done. It's knowing that on this show, you can watch this show while you're in the shower, while you're in the bathtub just soaking away, getting all kinds of STDs because you decided to take a bath in a bathtub in Vegas. Augustine saying the sexy show. Oh, 100%. I've got no problem saying this, and it's also because the bar is so low that out of all the sports shows in El Paso, this is the sexiest one. When I'm the better looking, better sounding guy, we've got some problems, man. Let's step our game up. We need like chiseled, handsome, good looks, not just a sexy ass voice. Tommy Canazza saying, to be honest, it's also just weird ass Augustine. It is kind of weird. Like, I don't know if I would ever, like, even if I was listening to a show in the shower, which I do, like, I listen to podcasts, I listen to radio, music, whatever, right? Well, while I'm in the show, it just depends on what it is that I'm doing. I still don't think that I would like brag on their chat. Hey guys, I'm in the shower right now. Yeah, it's awesome. Not only am I in the shower, I'm washing my hair, I'm washing my body, but I'm also washing my tip.
I just want to put the tip in.
It's time for
Just a Tip.
That would make me uncomfortable.
Promise that it ain't too much, but just enough. Just a tip. Just a tip.
Just the tip? Just the tip.
It's time for Just the Tip.
If you want to make sure that you're as sexy as you possibly can be while you're listening to a podcast in the shower, the only way that you can do that is by visiting www.myhappynuts.com. Use promo code Mike Tipton at checkout and save on all your male grooming needs. We have the Lawnmower 2.0, a sharper blade, a smoother glide. It's got everything you need to get rid of that jungle you got with all the crotch rot and all the other nastiness you got down there. The Lawnmower 2.0, everything you need to make sure you're looking as good as you can. Your boys are sticking to your legs. Yesterday, Jericho was walking, had to do the stanky leg, and I walked up to him and I was like, buddy, I know you laugh at me, but the comfort cream from www.myhappynuts.com, it's going to save your life. I wish whenever I was 13 years old, I had somebody in my life. That sounds weird, and I probably shouldn't say it, but I wish I had somebody in my life be like, look, this comfort cream is going to help you feel better as you get older. www.myhappynuts.com. Use promo code Mike Tipton at checkout and save on all your male grooming needs. Tommy saying that was a nice segue. Shrill saying, yep, that made me uncomfortable. And Augustine saying, I've got the StreamYard link. I know you do. And I don't have to put you on. I can just kick you. I can ban you forever. If I see you join this show while you're in your shower, 1, I will vomit profusely. And 2, I will ban you from the studio for the remainder of time. I will say, Tommy, that's got to be one of my better segues. Okay. The other game that happened yesterday was between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Houston Texans. And while I was walking home today, because, you know, I walk the boys to school, I was able to this time be blessed enough to walk with my neighbors and a couple of friends, walking all the way back from my kids' school. And we're talking about sports. And my neighbor, Carlos, happens to be a Houston Texans fan. And he asked me, Mike, what's going on in Houston? And I told you all this. I told y'all, I thought Houston was going to take a step back. The writing was on the wall last season, right? Like, they were going to take a step back. The Houston Texans undoubtedly were going to just not be able to keep it up, like sustain it. And we've seen the division get better. Like, maybe the Titans haven't gotten better. I still think the Jags are a little better. I think the Colts are much better than people are giving them credit for. This was an 8-win team last year. If Danny Dimes can keep it up, and Indiana Jones can keep it up, they might be a sneaky playoff team, right? But I just felt like that you would watch the Houston Texans take a big step back. And that's what they have done. That defense doesn't seem that great. They're not as explosive on offense, which is weird to say whenever you have Tank Dell and Nico Collison and Dalton Schultz. Like you've got some weapons there. I thought they'd be able to run the ball a little bit better, like Nick Chubb. I know Joe Mixon isn't there, but like whenever he comes back, they should be able to run the ball better. But I don't think anybody had the Houston Texans starting the season off 0-2. And then I made the joke, right? Because I'm that kind of guy. He's like, what's wrong with the Houston Texans? That they're a bad team, a bad organization. They've got bad ownership. They got bad players. They got a bad fan base. But I'm also of the belief if you're from Texas, there's literally one team from here. But they just don't look good. The offensive line, like Bistrell saying, not performing well. CJ Stroud looks like he is just unrelentingly under pressure all the time. And that's because the offensive line isn't good. Obviously, like the Buccaneers have a solid defense. The Rams have a solid defense. We're going to have a measuring stick game coming up because you have the Jaguars right now that are going to take on the Houston Texans this upcoming week. The Texans are, and I don't understand this one, but the Texans are 0-2, and somehow, okay, I read that wrong. My bad. I was looking at the wrong numbers here. The Texans are a 1.5 point underdog to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, granted, the game is in Jacksonville. You get 3 points just for being at home. That means that if they played on a neutral field, the Texans would be a 1.5 point favorite. But that's still not anything to write home about. And you would have thought at the beginning of the season that spread between Jacksonville and Houston would not have been as big as what it is now. You would have thought Houston would have been the team that is favored to win that game. I know it was a bold take whenever I said it. I firmly still believe that the Jacksonville Jaguars could win this division. I'm not saying they're going to be a 12 to 13 win team. I think you can win this division being a 9-win team. I just don't see it getting better for the Houston Texans. So you got Jacksonville coming up. You've got the Tennessee Titans. So maybe that's going to be a win for you there. You're 1-3. Then you've got the Ravens, the Seahawks, the 49ers, the Broncos. The Jags and the Titans are going to be sandwiched in there again. The Bills, the Colts, the Chiefs, the Cardinals, the Raiders, the Chargers, and then you end with the Colts. Again, I think that this could be a 7 to 9 win Houston Texans team. But I still don't think that wins the division for them. I think that they've got to deal with the Colts. They'll probably lose tiebreakers to the Colts and the Jags. It's just not looking good for the Houston Texans. And then on the flip side, it could look better, ? For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Augustine saying that the Buccaneers will go as far as Baker is healthy. He needs to get hit a lot less. That's another one, right? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line ain't anything to write home about either. Like Baker seems like he's under duress all the time. But they've got the Jets coming up, the Eagles, Seahawks, 49ers, Lions, Saints, Patriots, Bills, Rams, Cards, Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Dolphins, Panthers. Tampa Bay also has a tough schedule coming up. But they can start 3-1. It's a coin toss with the Seahawks. It's a coin toss. I think the 49ers are bad. It's going to be a coin toss with the 49ers, especially if you have to rely on Mac Jones. I know they won this week. You beat the New Orleans Saints. Everybody should be able to beat the New Orleans Saints, except for maybe the Dallas Cowboys, who will make Spencer Rattler look like he's a Hall of Fame quarterback because they're the Dallas Cowboys and they're a factory of disappointment, a conveyor belt of disappointment. If I'm the Houston Texans and I'm a Houston Texans fan, I'm not feeling the best right now. It felt like just a couple of years ago was CJ Stroud in that rookie season. It felt like this division could be the Houston Texans division for the next few years. And then last year, you saw the regression, right? Like, oh, okay, we kind of know a little bit about CJ now. We know a little bit about this guy now. We're going to see how it goes with him going forward. And it didn't look great. And you can see now, and it's just like any other quarterback. If you rattle the quarterback, they're going to make some bad decisions. But Houston hasn't addressed their offensive line. Houston hasn't done any of the stuff that you need. Like if you have a young dynamic quarterback, they haven't done the things that they need to do to keep that young dynamic quarterback standing upright. And getting rid of Laramie Tunsil only creates more issues for what was already a pretty halfway bad offensive line. Augustine trying to remind us that Mac Jones isn't a bad quarterback. The Crooked Commission saying, yo, Money Mike, what's good? Hope your Cowboys can check out the Clubhouse show tonight. We will definitely be getting them into Bears versus Cowboys. Hey, share the link, my guy. Follow me on Instagram at Mr. Tipton33, Commish. If you can, please and thank you. I'll tune in. I'll be sharing some of the stuff you've got. I got you, my guy. I know on Wednesday I will be joining the Crooked Commish. I also believe on Sunday I'll be helping the Crooked Commish and the Chicago Clubhouse Network previewing the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm debating, Tommy, I'm going to need your help here. Strilla, I'm going to need your help here. Should I be just the unrelenting, annoying Dallas Cowboys fan? Like, I mean, I'll have everything Dallas Cowboyed out. And I'm down for it. I also saw that for the first time in 20 years, the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants played a game on Sunday at 11 o'clock in that 1 o'clock window. Eastern time. It was the first time in 20 years that the Dallas Cowboys and the Giants played that kind of way. Sherelle saying, do it. Augustine saying, yes, I wasn't asked, but yes. Tommy saying, of course. Okay. I am going to create a virtual background for me to use. I will have a ton of Dallas Cowboys gear. I've got my autographed, personalized jersey right here. It's in glass, in its frame. I'm wondering if I should wear that. Should I wear Roger Staubach, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith? I don't have a Michael Irvin jersey. I got to get a Michael Irvin jersey. Dak Prescott, Zeke Elliott. I've even got offensive. I got a Zach Martin jersey, baby. That's how much I love this team. Leighton Vander Esch, Des Bryant, C.D. Lamb. Tommy Cananza saying it was the first time in 20 years the Giants actually put up a fight. LOL. I was wrong. StatMuse did me wrong yesterday. Apparently, it wasn't the 12th time Dak Prescott beat the New York Giants in a row. It was the 14th time Dak Prescott beat the New York Giants in a row. I don't care what any of y'all say. That is impressive. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Knowing that you're staring down the barrel of 7.5 years of losing to the same guy because you play him twice in your division. 7.5 years of losing to the same guy over and over and over again. I am here for it. I am all here for it. Dak Prescott, his 14th win this weekend over the New York Giants. Bistrell saying, since we're doing shameless plugs, watch the One Ass Cheek Three Toes podcast tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. I will be there. Guys, I don't have any more baseball games. I've got a lot of free time. I'm going to be checking out all these shows. Now, Strilla, I don't know what you're going to do with the plugs, but I am on the edge of my seat waiting to see what happens. That was dumb. I'm sorry. Augustine saying that I should dress like Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones has some good suits. We can all agree with that. Crooked Commission, as a prayer, I definitely feel over Giant Pain, who for the same guy over and over. You lose to the same guy over and over. That must be Aaron Rodgers that we're talking about right now. Augustine saying, ha, 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 ha. We all know what Bistrilla is going to be doing with the plugs. Hey, we've already said it. We've already said it. On this show specifically, we will not kink shame. Strilla, this is a safe place. You do what you got to do, my guy. I got your back. I'm also going to be subscribing to the OnlyFans whenever you put it out there. Not because I'm interested, but because I support my friends. Someone did tell me the other day that I need to bring my OnlyFans back. I'm debating on that. It was a great conversation that I had on Friday. Maybe I will. We'll see. Augustine getting the joke. I like it. Very few times will Augustine get the joke. Okay, so I had mentioned a little bit earlier, like let's go over some of the games here. You know there's going to be some injuries and things like that. What could have been a very interesting game between the Bengals and the Vikings became an unwatchable just shit fest. Because now you have no Joe Burrow, you have no J.J. McCarthy. I want to see what J.J. McCarthy brings to the table. J.J.'s not going to be there. The Bengals are going to be starting. God, what's his name? I had his name in the top of my head. Looking it up. Jake Browning. The Bengals are going to be starting Jake Browning. And the Minnesota Vikings are going to be starting Carson Wentz. And I had mentioned this at the top of the show. Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz started a game last year for the Kansas City Chiefs and will become the first player in NFL history to start a game for at least 6 different teams in 6 straight different seasons. So he's about to start a game for the Minnesota Vikings. That's in 2025. Last year, he started in 1 game and played in 3 games for the Kansas City Chiefs. In 2023, he started 1 game and played in 2 games for the LA Rams. In 2022, Carson Wentz started 7 games and played in 8 games for the Washington Commanders. In 2021, Carson Wentz started all 17 games for the Indianapolis Colts. And in 2020, Carson Wentz started 12 games for the Philadelphia Eagles. Bistrilla was asking, what was his record? With the Eagles, he was 3-8-1. With the Colts, he was 9-8. So right now we're looking at 12-16-1. With the Washington Commanders, he was 2-5. 14-21-1. 1-0 with the LA Rams. So 15-21-1. And then 0-1 with the Kansas City Chiefs. 15-22-1 has been Carson Wentz's record over the last 6 years. 15 wins, 21 losses, and 1 tie. But again, setting history. And I'm sure it's just extending history because I can't think of another scenario of a quarterback that's played for 5 separate teams in 5 separate seasons in a row that started a game for each one of those teams. But this Sunday, he'll become the first player in NFL history to start a game for 6 separate teams in 6 straight seasons. You remember whenever he first came out to the NFL, not the closet, which I'm sure he did a few years back, just like Augustine did on this show last Thursday. We're still proud of you, Augustine. But there was a conversation on who would you rather have, Would you rather have Dak Prescott or Carson Wentz? So now I ask the question right now. Dak Prescott has not had the most illustrious career, but you would definitely take Dak Prescott over Carson Wentz, right? Like it should not have even been a conversation to have between these two guys. Who would you rather have, Dak Prescott or Carson Wentz? And obviously, Carson Wentz must bring something to the table, because if he was just absolute dog shit, which his record of 15, 21, and 1 would suggest he is over the last 6 seasons, then you would figure that no team would bring him in, right? Like you can have a young backup quarterback, but I guess if you're the Vikings, you need to have a veteran presence there, right? You got J.J. McCarthy. He's got to learn from a veteran. But is Carson Wentz that guy? Like, is that really who you want to learn from, is Carson Wentz? Tommy's saying, what about Goff or Prescott? I'd still rather have Dak. I think they're closer than most people will give them credit for. I think if you love Jared Goff, you're going to say Goff by far. If you love Dak Prescott the way that I do, you would say Dak Prescott by far. I think it's closer. I think they're both very similar. But you also got to remember, statistically, Joe Burrow and Dak Prescott not that far away from each other. I know you guys hate me for it. The statistics speak for themselves, my guys. The team was just better. Augustine saying, is he more like a mentor towards young players? I think that's it. But this is what's going to be extremely interesting about this, right? About this scenario with the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings won 14 games last year with Sam Darnold as their quarterback. A guy that we could have been like, is Carson Wentz light? Very Carson Wentz-esque, right? They've got all kinds of stuff that helps out their quarterback. I said it beforehand. The Vikings should be okay. I don't think they're going to win 14 games. They should be a playoff team because they are quarterback proof. You've got a good running game. You've got a solid defense. You have arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL and a great tight end room as well. Jordan Addison's going to come back. This team, like Carson Wentz, should win some games with this particular team. But it's also Carson Wentz, who we saw with an all-star laden Philadelphia Eagles team, was very underwhelming. That is extremely underwhelming. The Vikings should win this game on Sunday, not because I think that they're that much better, but because they're going up against Jake Browning, and Cincinnati doesn't have a good defense. This is going to be the first real offensive weapons that the Cincinnati Bengals are going to have to perform against. And I think if you just give Carson Wentz a little bit of time and he throws that ball up in the air in the direction of Justin Jefferson, it's going to be a tutty. I think the spread, let me find out what the spread is real quick. The spread is the Minnesota Vikings by 3.5. I think the Vikings cover that easily. I think it's going to be a touchdown to 10-point game. Strill saying, statistically, Goff is a top 3 quarterback in the last 5 years behind Mahomes and Burrow. I agree. Like, if not for the injuries, I think Dak Prescott would be top 5 as well. But I think because you have to factor in the injuries, Dak Prescott is still maybe top 10. But whenever Dak Prescott is there and Dak Prescott is healthy, he is a top-tier quarterback. The statistics speak on their own. Augustine saying, I've got important questions. Shorts or pants? For you, I would say you need as long a pants as possible. Nobody wants to see those legs. At all. Like just at all. No one wants to see them. Just got a text message. You know what that means, guys. Luckily, we're already 55 minutes into the show. That's going to be all right. We're going to be good. We're good. We're good on this side. Okay. It's going to be interesting to kind of see. There you go. Dak Prescott is up there, I think, 5th or 6th. That's what Bistril said. And Augustine says the VA is calling. They're like, yeah, you got to get back on your meds, guy. That's also the weird thing about being in this job. Like, I have to have so many medications to help me sleep. But whenever the games end at like 10 o'clock, 10:30, and I don't get home until about midnight, and I have to dedicate to myself at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep if I take these medications, but I want to wake up and take my kids to school, it's my double-edged sword. So they're probably like, hey, they always call and check in to make sure I'm doing the things that I need to do. This week, I'm able to do them. All the weeks going forward now, I'm going to be able to do them. It's just during the baseball season where it's going to be a little hard for your boy, but it's okay. We're making it through. We're doing all the things that we've got to do to get healthier. Already down 13 pounds, by the way, which is good for me. I feel good. I look good. I sound good. Sexy as all hell. That's the reason why Augustine takes a shower during the middle of the show. It gets too hot for him, and he's got to have to get a little wet. So glad Tommy's kids were not watching at that point. Or being forced to listen to this show at that point. But I also wonder if Tommy might have been in a line somewhere at like Walmart or Whataburger listening to the show with as much volume on as possible. Anyway, I want to thank you all so much for being a part of today's show. I appreciate the love and the support. I know, Augustine, yesterday your last comment was, we don't love you, you jerk. I'm fine with it. You don't have to love me. But I love you back. Just like Barney. I love you. You love me. Let's go support the TIP. That was dumb. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. I don't know why you put up with my goofy ass, but we'll see you all tomorrow.